When the harvest come on and the reaping begin, the farmer the fruit of the earth gathers in.
Hello, welcome to Priory Paddock. It's high summer now. The annual growth cycle has reached its zenith, and that's pretty obvious as we look around here. There are some flowers that have been flowering pretty well all summer and will carry on through to probably to the end of August. These are relatively low growing compared to the high summer flowers, but standing near the gate and having a look round, I can see the blue with the tiny white eye, the blue-eyed flowers of alkanet, looking like magnified forget-me-nots, and the delicate five-petaled pink flowers with red, very often with red stems, of Herb Robert, and the much larger five-petaled pink flowers with purple stripes of Mallow. And these are all still flowering, still flowering nicely here in the paddock. And walking a little bit further along, I can see the bright yellow, glow-growing bright yellow flowers in clusters, a bit like pea flowers, of bird's foot trefoil. And there are some oxeye daisies here as well. These have all been flowering for some time now, and they will carry on flowering, as I say, probably to the summer. Many plants in here flowered much earlier in the year, and they have now reached the point where they are setting seed or attempting to fill and ripen fruit. The grasses are a good example of the grasses are now going that yellow-brown colour, which shows that they're drying out and ripening, and the seed heads tend to be drooping on the top of the grasses. Also flowering much earlier in the year are the trees and bushes. And in the lower part of the paddock, we've got hawthorn, and on the hawthorn bushes we can see the haws, which are beginning to fill and ripen out now. And there are alder flowers, or alder bushes. The flowers have all turned into alder berries now. Again, they tend to have purple stems, but the berries, which will eventually ripen and be black, are relatively light green at the moment. And a little bit further up, there are clusters and clusters of bright orange berries hanging, drooping even, from the Guelder rose bushes. These are pale to start with, but as they ripen and droop, they become very, very, very bright red indeed. Many of the lower growing flowers that flowered earlier in the year, or in some cases still flowering now, in many cases the seeds are relatively inconspicuous and difficult to notice, but a couple that are noticeable are the thistledown. The spear thistle has very noticeable thistledown, and further up the paddock, particularly in the area around the paths approaching the well, there's meadow cranesbill, and the meadow cranesbill has very, very dramatic seed heads. They look very much like the head of a stork or crane when they are still green, but as they ripen, they turn brown and open up, and you get these very interesting curled seed stems, each with a seed on the end, looking a little bit like a miniature cat. As it's now high summer, the flowers which have had longest growing seasons have had the opportunity to grow tallest are now reaching the point where they are coming into flower. Down by the boardwalk there are fleshy purple stems with whitish, off-white, umbrella-shaped, umbellifers, technically, umbrella-shaped of flowers. The leaves have purple stems themselves, so the whole thing is very dramatic. This is Angelica. There used to be a variety grown and crystallised, and people put it on cakes, but I don't think I've noticed that for a while now. Also in the area near the pond and the boardwalk, there are purple spikes, square-stemmed, purple spikes, spires with little spotted flowers, and this is marsh woundwort. It has a kind of red edge, red corners to the stems, and much bigger plants, again with square stems with a slight red edge to the corners, but very much taller. And when I say much taller, I'm talking anything from 6 to 8 feet or more, is purple loosestrife. And this has 6 petaled pink flowers, each with a purple stripe down the centre, and these are very, very popular with bees and butterflies and other insects. Going further up the paddock, there are tall, dark stems with clouds of creamy, highly scented, creamy blossom on them, and this is meadowsweet. And unmistakable, a very spiny or spiky stems, leaves and flower heads of the teasel, which has lovely pale purple flowers, beloved of insects and bees, butterflies. Again, in fact, I can see a white-tailed bumblebee on this particular one as I'm standing looking at it. And these, in the autumn, when they have set seed, will be a very, 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 very popular plant with birds like the goldfinch, who perch on them and pull out the individual seeds from the spiky heads. The largest block of flowers in the paddock is the one from the well upwards towards the path at the top going into the churchyard, and this at this time of year is a solid block of plants 7 or 8 feet tall with 5-petaled bright pink flowers on them, again with a white centre, purpley pink flowers with a white centre. This is great willow herb, known colloquially as codlins and cream, because the flowers in the old days were considered to look like stewed apple with a dob of cream in the middle. A little bit further up the path along the right hand side, there's a stand of flowers with pincushion type flower with lilac flowers, again covered in insects in most cases, tiny little beetles in this case, the ones I'm looking at, and these are field scabious. Well, that more or less is what I can see in the paddock at the moment. Why don't you come down in a month's time and have another look. Cheerio!